Like the separation between church and state, we now need a separation between corporation and state. Private corporate interests are manipulating our public decision making and our democratic processes. This is happening through speaking fees, donations, fundraising events, paid holidays, free tickets, all expense paid workshops, favors, gifts, and discounts. It happens through corporate funding of scientific research and corporate ownership of mass media. It is facilitated by revolving doors between government and corporations. It happens when government officials are allowed to trade in shares of the companies that they regulate. Even if these forms of influence are unsuccessful, they often do work, and they align the interests of political parties with the interests of corporations. Any incentive that aligns public decision makers with private interests is a form of corruption. Legalizing donations does not make it okay. It's just corruption with extra steps. Corporate corruption of public decision making is making every aspect of our lives and our societies worse. But why? What's the problem? The problem is that corporations donate money and support political parties because they want something in return. They're not doing it for free. They're also doing it because it works. No, it might not work all the time, but it works enough to be worth spending all that money on. If it didn't work, they wouldn't spend the money. Different corporations may want different things, but they're not interested in the general public welfare. It might be that they want favorable legislation, access to politicians, subsidies, regulatory changes, lower taxes, product approvals, the privatization of public assets, or worse, the protection of corporate assets overseas, which drags us into wars we don't want to be in. Corporations have a way of framing these private interests as in the public interest, such as it will create a lot of jobs. That's a big one, the most popular one. But there's other ways of selling it. But basically, this is all just PR, spin, and propaganda. Businesses seek to maximize profits. They want to make their shareholders rich, and legally, they're obliged to. That's a problem for another video. The issue is not exclusive to corporations. Any kind of organization that donates money to political parties is problematic. Trade unions seek to maximize the wages and benefits of their members, often at the expense of higher costs for other members of society. Religious institutions seek to have favor for their beliefs at the expense of beliefs of other religions. NGOs seek priority for their issues at the expense of other issues. Professional associations seek to benefit their members, possibly at the expense of members of other trades. Corporate resources in public affairs corrupts the process. Democracy is supposed to be about each person having equal say. But when some people have a lot more money dedicated to issues, their voices are louder. This is not democracy. The decisions and outcomes that organizations donating to political parties want are not in the general interest of the public. All of us would be better off if we blocked corporate support and donations to political parties. All of us. Even the wealthiest among us will live healthier and safer lives. Corporate influence in politics affects every aspect of our lives, whether we realize it or not. It affects the water we drink, the air we breathe, and the food we eat. It raises the cost of medicine, healthcare, childcare, elder care. It makes rent and mortgages cost more than they should. If we could get corporate money out of politics, we could solve a lot of big problems, and we could make our lives a lot better. Homelessness and crime would be reduced. Poverty would be reduced. The quality of our education and healthcare systems would increase. Everyone, including the wealthy, will benefit from getting corporate money out of politics. We would live lives with less anxiety and depression about the future. We would live with less anxiety about our security and our positions in society. There would be fewer wars. We would experience less depression about the state of the world. We would feel less guilt and stress about the positions we have in society or the world. We would feel more hopeful about the future because we would be able to address the big challenges of our time. Now, of course, getting money out of politics is not going to fix everything, but it will make a significant difference. It will not be easy to achieve either, but it will be worth it. We will have to create broad alliances to challenge powerful interests. But there are more of us, and we must work together despite our differences. We must act in solidarity and not be divided. Organized groups have achieved things far more radical than getting money out of politics. We have ended empires, overthrown monarchs, and deposed dictators. We can get money out of politics. We've stopped apartheids, ended slavery, and established universal suffrage. We can get corporate money out of politics. It might actually be a lot easier than you realize, but it all depends on how well we organize and remain in solidarity with one another. That is the key, and that is all that's holding us back, is recognition that we all stand to gain from making this change happen. And once we get money out of politics, all the other issues that we care about will be far, far easier to address. It could happen quickly, or it could take generations, but it must happen. Few things are worth fighting for more than this is now. So yeah, this is just the beginning.